Welcome to the Marvels, Mysteries and Midlanders podcast. Prepare to take a dive into all things mythical, eerie and downright strange. Stick around. You might just enjoy yourself. Previously on Marvel's Mysteries and Midlanders. Lewis became a musician. James dropped some truth.
Degenerates trying to tell a story, okay? Nothing more, nothing less.
And Adam befriended a cobbler.
Right, those are a great fucking pair of wingtips, those are. Can I have them?
And now, the ghost of Cock Lane, Part 2.
I'm still playing Balloons Tower.
What the hell? I thought you were just chatting nonsense talking about popping balloons.
I showed it you.
I wasn't looking.
I thought you were just chatting shit.
Yeah! You're at uni now. You've become a master in chatting of the shit.
I've just got to pop my druid monkey down and I'll be with you.
Just want to state that we are recording a podcast and currently you are playing a phone game.
Right, welcome everyone.
Hello everyone. Deranged Lewis. Hello everyone and welcome to Marvel's Mysteries and Midlanders. It's episode 28. We can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore. But I'm James Alexander and that handsome chap is Adam Daly. And that psychotic reprobate from the East Midlands is Lewis Carter. And we're here today to discuss The Ghost of Cock Lane Part 2! Yes.
Woo.
Yeah.
Fanny, where's Fanny?
Okay, oh, you know what? Since I'm the man with the information, I want you to tell me what happened on Cock Lane Part 1.
Oh, look what he's done. Look what you've done, Lewis.
My, how the tables have...
The turn of tables.
The turning of tables is incredibly surprising, and no one ever expects a turning of a table.
So the last thing I remember is there were so many people, and basically this one dude
there wasn't that many people.
He's in mad debt. So he starts
Richard Parsons.
Mr. Parsons starts renting his rooms out. Because although this man's massively in debt, apparently he still owns a house. Things but that's none of my business.
Things were different back in 1759.
It's okay. It's none of my business. What Mr. Parsons does with his own financials is none of my concern.
I just want to keep a roof over my girl's
Although, for the
head,
sake of this argument, it actually is. So,
you take a chug of your
tropical juice, yes,
tropical
to get
juice.
the brain flowing.
Yeah.
There was a knocking. There was a knocking on the wall, and that did not go down well.
You look very stressed out as you're recounting this. You look like you're really on the spot.
Why did the teacher pick me?
And there was
an interesting fact about me is I've never had a curry. And yeah, that's all I can remember, to be honest.
Lewis, what do you remember?
I remember.
You've missed out every single other key character in the entire story.
That
Fanny. There was Fanny.
You remember
that
the
bloke,
drunk guy.
and then didn't he?
Oh yeah, his sister.
Didn't he rent the room to a couple from up north somewhere?
I don't think they were northern.
Well, probably north of London. It's quite south, isn't it?
Okay. I suppose so.
And
fine.
Fucking northerners.
And he found out that the bloke he were dating.
Yeah.
They weren't married. It was his sister-in-law because his wife had died.
I'm going to have to take control. So basically, 1759 London. So Richard Parsons, a clerk at the local St. Sepulchre Church, he worked there. He had a daughter, Elizabeth, another daughter and a wife who don't really get mentioned much.
We fucked this, Lewis.
F's for both of you. And basically, a couple as William Kent and Fanny Kent. Basically, we're in the area. I'm struggling to remember now. They come into the area and basically they were looking, while they're waiting for their house to be done up for them to move into in Clerkenwell, they lodged at Richard Parsons, the drunk's house. And while they were there...
the drunk reverend came as well. No, he was hungover.
The hungover reverend come at the end. Basically, so William told a dirty little secret to Richard, saying that it turns out that his apparent wife, Fanny, was actually his sister-in-law, because his previous wife had died, sadly. And then he was banging his sister-in-law. And it turns out there's another sister-in-law who he could potentially move on to now, because Fanny dies at the end of the first episode. And,
they did a seance as well, didn't they?
We're going to do the yes/no answer, which had some really loaded questions, considering
very descriptive yes or no answers.
Yeah, I was killed by William killed me with red arsenic, and also I died on this day. So basically it ended with William Kent being accused of Fanny Lyons' murder, and basically the wall's kind of closing in on him. Here we go. We
gotta get him out.
Mate, we didn't get them out last episode. It was just a non...
I'm sorry, but there's Fanny Kent, Fanny Lyons. It's just too much. It's too much Fanny.
What a Kent.
Wait until you meet Fanny Gape later in the story. It's great.
Fanny what?
It doesn't matter. Just carry on. Keep going. It's fine. Carry on. Forget about it. It's fine.
Nah, he's messing with us.
I am, mate. Yeah. So when we last left this story, William Kent had been accused of the murder of his wife, not officially by the police, but by Richard Parsons and Reverend John, whatever the hell his name was. I always forget his name. What was it? Reverend John...
the Baptist.
Yeah, John the Baptist, the hungover Baptist, yeah. He'll come into it again, don't worry. Okay. So obviously the story ended in 1759, and we are now in 1761. So around a year and a half has passed. All this shit started in 1759, and now we've hit 1761. And William Kent, poor sod, who's lost 2 wives now, has set himself up as a stockbroker, recovering from his bereavement so much that he apparently remarried again. It's not even been 2 years, and he's married again.
Who's he married to? Not the sister, not the other sister.
It's not. I feel like if it would be in it, but you probably find her parents were like, "Don't you go near him."
Yeah, that's pretty much beating a dead
Don't
horse
go
now,
near him. Yeah, exactly.
Forgive the previous dead sisters.
Gotta keep it in the family. So yeah. So he remarried, and he apparently, whilst he was just doing his thing, being married again, being his usurer stockbroker self, he come across a couple of articles in the Public Ledger discussing the melodrama in and around the Cock Lane saga. So, reading about all this Cock Lane business, the accusations, and about his wives dying, it kind of brought back all of the sleepless nights, the deaths, the drunken bastard who owed him 11 guineas. It all come back, and he even decided, it's like, right, I'm not over this, guys. I'm not over this. I deserve closure, guys. That's exactly what he said.
I've got some unresolved issues.
I have some trauma that needs addressing.
I've got some trauma.
I've got some trauma that needs addressing. So he decided to confront Reverend Moore. Not John the Baptist. Maybe it's Reverend John Moore. Reverend John the Baptist Moore. After all, this guy was now involved with Parsons in all of this bullshit. Remember, he was the one. Moore was the one who was like, "Yeah, it sounds like you did murder your wife, mate. Just stop talking to me, please." Yeah, remember that.
Just fucking kill her. I need some paracetamol.
So
I need the equivalent of what 1761 paracetamol
morphine, ether, something, a hammer over the head.
Rum.
Yeah, that's the good
I
stuff.
need an eel, mate.
Put some
blood-sucking eel to get
eels up inside, yeah. I'm going to do some bleeding, mate. You got too many ghosts in your blood. Yeah.
Fetch me my cup.
So when William Kent met Reverend Moore, he broke down. He was pleading that he was innocent, and that it was all orchestrated by Parsons. He called Parsons a blackguard, which means a person who is dishonourable. So Reverend Moore, finally hearing Kent's side of the story, because remember, he went through all these seances, and didn't even give William Kent a chance to defend himself. He was like, "Yeah, I guess, yeah, you killed him, mate. Yeah, it's pretty."
That's clear-cut evidence. That is.
Clear-cut evidence, yeah. Because remember, at this point, no official law body is involved. This is just people going, "He killed his wife. He owes me money."
You can imagine like someone just
ghost.
under the table asking the fucking questions to the dead sister.
Yeah.
Just going, "Is this the dead sister?" And like, "Oh my god, guilty murderer!"
Yes, how freaking guilty. There's been a murder. So yeah. So Moore finally hears Kent's side of the story, and apparently was genuinely moved by his gentle manner, but told him he was genuinely convinced there was a ghost or even a demon in 20 Cock Lane. So we've gone from ghost now. So he's like, "I didn't kill my wife," and he's like, yeah, mate, that's fine. You know, there's a ghost in that house you stayed in. That's what it was like.
There's something in there. It must be a fucking ghost.
But I
Or
didn't
a
kill my
demon.
wife. We've gone full like modern day horror film. You don't get haunted anymore. You're just getting attacked by demons. That's how it works.
Haunting of Cock Lane. I still
The
can't
haunting
get
of
over
Cock
it.
Lane. The possession of Cock Lane. That's what it is now. Yeah. So, Reverend Moore even went...
Yes.
Yes! Possessions of cocks, lanes, everything. So many penises. Reverend Moore went on to say that he should totally come and do a seance with me, bro, to experience the accusations for real. And Kent was probably hoping he could clear his name during this reputational shitstorm, so he buckled up and agreed to do the seance. But it didn't go well for Kent at all. Again. It didn't go well.
Was it yes, no again?
You killed me! You killed me! Ah! Yeah.
He's fucked if it's not yes, no answers.
So when the seance began, a relative of Parsons, Richard Parsons, Mary Fraser, ran around the room shouting, "Fanny! Fanny! Why don't you come? Do come! Pray, Fanny! Come! Dear Fanny, come!"
No, he did not.
Yeah. Yes, it did. It's true. Mary ran about saying, "Fanny, Fanny, why don't you come? Do come, pray, Fanny, come. Dear Fanny, come. Come!" So yeah, that's what
Sounds like every one of my sexual experiences.
Please! Just
Why doesn't it work?
Just do something. This is nothing like the videos. Yeah. But yeah, so imagine like people are doing a seance sat around a table and you're like sitting there quietly. And you're like holding hands and the candle. And there's some woman going, "Fanny, come! Fanny, come! Fanny, please come!" Can someone get her out of here, please? Fanny, come! Fanny, please come!
Ivan, can you just take her away, please?
Ivan.
She's freaking out the other seance guests.
Nobody's coming, Mary. Just get out.
Mary, shut the fuck up.
But Mary doing this, it didn't work. Fanny didn't come. And apparently she was told to shut up as the ghost apparently didn't like too much noise. So, no
It reminds me of the, have you ever seen the crazy cat lady in The Simpsons?
Yeah. I don't sound like her, though. I sound like some sort of drunken leprechaun.
The crazy Cock Lane lady.
Yeah.
That's too long. That's too much of a mouth.
Crazy. Oh, Cock Lane now. You got to say that a bit serious with a mouthful, didn't it? Because you could just say the crazy cock lady, but then that's just too,
Yeah, I wanted to say crazy cock lady, but I needed more context.
Possessed cock lady. No, it's not working. Anyway, let's keep going. The ghost didn't like a lot of noise, and the ghost also did not enjoy light. For during one seance, when a witness used a candle to look under Elizabeth's bed, it fell silent and did not communicate any further. Because remember, these knocks, they were centered mainly inside of Richard Parsons' daughter, Elizabeth Parsons' room. That's where the knockings were. Because remember when Fanny shared the bed with young Elizabeth back in the last episode, and they were hearing the knocks?
Oh, yeah.
And Adam got all freaked out about it because he was like, "What's a girl sharing a red woman? Oh, that's weird."
True.
Yeah, remember that. So that the main seance is focused on inside this room. The only other real apparition that was seen was when Richard Parsons and the guy who runs the wheat sheaf, James Franzen, I think, they saw that apparition with no hands fly up the stairs, which lit up the
Oh, yeah.
clock. Yeah,
It lit up the clock.
So They began to go through the same line of questioning that Parsons had written up for the first seance. Are you the wife of Mr. Kent? 2 knocks. Did you die naturally? 2 knocks. By poison? 1 knock. Did any person other than Mr. Kent administer it? 2 knocks.
Wait, it's 2 knocks no?
2 knocks is no, yeah. So,
Okay.
Are you the wife of Mr. Kent? No. Did you die naturally? No. By poison? Yes. Did anybody else other than Mr. Kent administer the poison? No.
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 Yes.
The ghost even announced that it was no longer the spirit of his first wife, but was officially the ghost of Fanny.
How did it do that?
Probably someone went, are you the ghost of Fanny? Knock.
Yes.
Yes. So while all this was kicking off, remember, William Kent's in there hearing his wife, his dead bang maid.
Bang maid?
I just want my bang maid. You know, she, the spirit was accusing him of, being a murderer, and apparently he piped up mid-sentence and went tearfully, "Should I be hanged?" To which the ghost replied, 1 knock, which can be translated roughly to, "Yeah, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Yeah,
mate.
mate. Go get hung. Go get hung. Go get hung." So yeah, Kent proclaimed through distraught rage, "Thou art a lying spirit. Thou art not the ghost of any Fanny. She would never have said such a thing." See? Not a ghost of any Fanny. Not just one Fanny. Not a ghost of any Fannies at all. So
All the Fannies in
no
the
Fanny ghosts. No Fanny ghosts.
late 1700s.
Yeah, not a single Fanny was a ghost. At this point, word of this tale had spread across all of London, thanks to gossiping and the public ledger's fantastic articles. And before you know it, people were flocking to 20 Cock Lane for a piece of the action, or to at least watch the comings and goings of various reporters and clergymen blessing the home. From this point on, I'm about to reveal.
I swear he writes his script on purpose. He's done this intentionally.
How have I done this?
They flocked to Cock Lane to see the ghost of Fanny, their comings and goings.
And blessing.
All we need now is the Brazzers theme tune to come on.
No offense to us, but what does blessing do? Oh, do you want to come over here and bless my cock? That doesn't make any sense.
I mean, to be fair,
no one's.
you're saying that your lovely wife Hannah said that, I mean, maybe she didn't say
What?
bless my cock.
What?
But if you said that to her, I'm sure she'd be down, willing.
Okay, I'll definitely try it next time.
Go
May as well throw in "come here and drink the royal milk" while I'm at it. Shall I do that as well? Yeah.
I mean, some people are into it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Come here and bless thy penis. Oh, I should wear my monk outfit at the same time. Yeah, that'll really get it going. Mary Christie, come and bless thy penis. Yeah. So, remember how last episode I said to you both that I hadn't revealed what the actual name of this case was, like, properly? Yeah. So, at this point, it became famously known as Scratching Fanny of Cock Lane.
What? No, it did not. It did not.
It did.
Who comes up with these things? I thought we were degenerate. But it all started from our ancestors.
Yeah. Like early Victorian / late pre-Victorian period. Edwardian, maybe. Everyone was horny. There wasn't much to do back then. It was all smutty, back alley romps,
Fucking euphemisms and innuendos galore.
Everyone was just, we're humans, mate, and we all have needs, and we need to stop hiding it, okay? We're just rude, We're just rude. We're just dirty.
Very unprofessional.
We're just
1700s.
1700s. Yeah. So this case is officially known as Scratching Fanny of Cock Lane. So, moving forward into the case. So the case is very big now. It's a big bad boy case.
I'll tell you.
The case is about this big.
The
From your pinky to your thumb. That's how big it is.
The girth of the case is at least 30 centimeters.
It's a fat, juicy case.
For God's sake. This was a particularly veiny case. So, Horace Welpole.
Skewed to one side. All right, carry on. Carry on.
We'll eventually introduce this character. Horace Welpole, a English... Horace Welpole! Yeah. Yeah.
My name's Horace Welpole of Cock Lane.
So, Horace Welpole, an English writer, is an English writer who attended one of the spectacles at Cock Lane and wrote to a friend in Italy about it. He said, "I am ashamed to tell you that we are again dipped into an egregious scene of folly. The reigning fashion is a ghost that would not pass muster in the paltriest convent of the Apennines. It only knocks and scratches, does not pretend to appear or to speak. The clergy give it their benediction, and all the world, whether believers or infidels, go to hear it. All the taverns and alehouses in the neighbourhood make fortunes." Quick sidetrack. Horace Welpole is actually given credit for writing the very, very, very first Gothic novel, known as The Castle of Otranto, published in 1764. A brief synopsis of the story is a prince who is attempting to make the castle safe for his descendants as a mysterious curse strikes his family down. If you're into Gothic novels, and I definitely feel like you might be if you're listening to this, go and give it a read if you haven't heard of it.
Was that inspired from the thingy?
The Cock Lane saga.
Scratching Fanny.
Maybe. I haven't read it. Maybe.
3 years?
3 years later, yeah. He was like, that Fanny's scratching. I'm going to write a book about a castle. Yeah, maybe. But back to the story.
It's a euphemism again.
Maybe, yeah, maybe. So, back to the story. Welpole's curiosities with the supernatural began to grow, as did the story. Horace wasn't just a fancy man of words. He was the Earl of Orford. Orford being a small village in Suffolk. He was also the son of the very first Prime Minister ever in the UK, Robert Welpole. So I don't really know the guy at all. But I get...
His son?
Yeah, he's the son of the very first Prime Minister in the UK. Maybe, I imagine he's a bit like Draco Malfoy, though. You know, he's like, my father...
Wait till my father hears about this.
My father hears about this ghost. What a sham. Got bit by a bloody chicken. Because of his title, he could do what he wants. And what he wanted to do was get in on the investigation. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Most Haunted 1762. Joining Horace was William Legge, 2nd Earl of Dartmouth, and Prince Edward, the Duke of York, and Albany, who for this particular telling of the story will be Derek Okora. Also, quickly, Edward was a Freemason. And Freemasons is a whole other episode, so, you know, there's a lot going on there. So these three guys show up. You've got Horace, you've got Edward, and you've got William. They all show up and they're like, what up? Let's hunt some ghosts. So in comes Horace first, Horace Welpole, and he's like, the name's Welpole, Horace Welpole, and I'm here to document and discover these dastardly deliveries on 20 Dick Lane.
Oh, is it me?
Is it me?
I can't do it.
Get posh, mate. Get posh.
And I'm William Legge. 9 children and counting. I demand satisfaction. Again and again. I intend to experience pleasure on all levels. And today, I'm going to bang this ghost.
And I'm Prince Edward, Prince of Princes, clairvoyant supreme. I'm sensing a spirit, and it's telling me that William is going to get lucky tonight.
You know what? Thank you for your time. That was incredible. Thank you, gents. Using the knowledge that had been ascertained from previous reports, William Legge, Adam, had Elizabeth Parsons, the daughter of Parsons, 13-year-old, transferred to another house, as the ghost seemed to focus on her particularly. Sure enough, the ghost followed, and the tapping began at this new location, proving that Cock Lane was actually haunting free. It was Elizabeth. See, that was originally where the first episode was meant to end, but, you know, we got a bit sidetracked. So.
Just a wee bit.
Just a wee bit. So Elizabeth Parsons now comes into centre stage. So she's the 13-year-old daughter of Richard Parsons, the drunk. and it appears that this ghostly scratching, knocking, whatever it is, she's being haunted by a scratching Fanny, basically. So that's where we are at with the story, okay? Elizabeth was watched closely as the tapping echoed around the premises of which she was currently based at. Though the skeptical eyewitnesses could not see Elizabeth being deliberately responsible for it, this was due to the fact that her hands and feet were held tightly in place and scrutinized to every little detail, probably a little too much. As it stands, Elizabeth, who I said was now 13, was having some type of insidious-like situation. The house isn't haunted. It's your daughter. You know, it's that kind of thing, you know. But it wasn't like some red lipstick-faced demon this time. It was a scratching noise. Or a handless ghost. Maybe, because there was a ghost with no hands, the hands are trapped in the wall and they're trying to scratch their way out.
Or maybe
Figured it
it's
out.
hands with no ghost.
Hand sans ghost. Or ghost sans hand. I'll leave you guys to think about that. Quote-unquote legal proceedings of the Cock Lane saga was deemed by most a kangaroo court. Do you know what kangaroo court means?
Just an absolute sham.
Yes.
That is correct, yeah. Meaning an unofficial court held by a group of people in order to try someone regardless, especially without good evidence, guilty of a crime or misdemeanor. So, do you remember Fanny Lines' maid, Carrots Carlyle?
Oh, Carrots. What
Remember
a character.
Carrots? Yeah, remember Carrots. So she's still about, and she was actually dragged into this situation by those fancy men, the clergymen, and the drunk men before the spirit itself. So she was quizzed about her involvement with Fanny's death. More so, the ghosts claim that Fanny told Carrots she was poisoned by red arsenic by William. Now,
That's me.
William Kent, not William Legg. Oh, I'm sorry.
Don't you dare accuse me, whore!
Red-haired temptress. Yeah, that's what it is. I do find that the term temptress I like the term strumpet, and I find temptress
Strumpet?
Strumpet, mate. Hello,
I like
you,
harlots.
you tantalizing little strumpet. Yeah, harlot's a good one. Harlots.
You bedeviling harlot!
Lewis, what would you call, a lady who brings you joy back in day? Yeah, right. Strumpet. Would you like that one?
I don't know.
All
I
right,
don't know.
strumpet.
I can't think of anything that is
Shame.
derogatory.
Seamstress.
I think, Lewis, you need to, educate yourself about
Yes,
nice terms.
I think I do.
You're
Polite ways to call
You're
ladies
right.
of the night.
You're right, prosy. There we go.
Lady of the
Whore.
night. Hello, lady of the night.
Oh my goodness.
You're right, hooker. Yeah.
The misogyny is over the roof.
Too much testosterone in this conversation, and I don't like it. Carrots confirmed that she did indeed care for Fanny during the last 4 days, but Adam's holding in a laugh as best he can. You okay?
I'm fine.
Good.
All professional here.
Yeah, so she was caring for Fanny for the last 4 days. Dude, come on. You can make it.
I'm done. I'm done. Just don't repeat it again. Just carry on.
So, Carrots cared for Fanny in the last 4 days of her life. But she definitely didn't have a conversation where Fanny told her she was poisoned. The ghost was asked if what Carrots said was true, to which it called her a liar. The lining of questioning went as such. Are you my mistress? One knock, followed by scratches. Are you angry with me, madam? One knock. But Carrots wasn't having any of it. She was like, I don't think so. She literally, apparently she piped up and shouted, Then I am sure, madam, you may be ashamed of yourself, for I never hurt you in my life. The doctor and the apothecary, who also cared for Fanny, were also interrogated, but both denied William could have poisoned Fanny as she had only drank the elixirs they provided. To bite back at this, the clergyman said a lot could have taken place in the 50 hours they were not present. So can you see what I mean there by it turning into like more of a criminal case than an actual ghost story.
Yeah.
It's becoming more of a case of public reputation being dragged through the dirt. Defamation of character.
Ooh. It does seem like a bit of a shit show.
Outside of these meandering proceedings, the Cock Lane spirit was on the move yet again. This time, Elizabeth Parsons fell into a series of epileptic fits, of which were triggered when she saw the apparition of the ghost once more. She described it as a luminous, shrouded woman with no hands, just like how Richard Parsons, and the Wheatsheaf's landlord, James Franzen, described. Was she told to say this, though? Or did she legitimately see it?
I'd heard of it before.
Has she heard of it, through everyone talking about it? Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it tallied up well with her father's account of the story. But it was discovered that a logical explanation for young Elizabeth's fits was actually stress, apparently. The stress of being constantly scrutinized by all these various strange people, but also her fear that her drunkard father would be labelled as a charlatan. Do you know what a charlatan is?
Is it someone that's like a liar?
Someone
And
falsely
a
claiming...
fake.
Yeah, someone falsely claiming to have certain knowledge and skill. Yeah, basically, someone who is faking it till they make it, but they never make it, basically.
Charlatan.
And she was, you charlatan! And apparently the daughter was stressed out because she thought he was going to get himself locked up by the old Bill Gov. So, Adam, Lewis.
Hello.
Remember Reverend Moore?
The hungover priest.
The very same.
I love him.
So he was convinced... John Moore. John the Baptist Moore.
Yeah.
So he was convinced William wasn't guilty after hearing the account of his accusation. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
Remember this? Now, he totally changed his mind now and decided to make a push of his own. He contacted the Lord Mayor, so now he's getting municipal government involved, or the government, I don't know. I don't think municipal comes into it, but so he contacted the Lord Mayor, Samuel Floodyer, and said that William Kent is rate guilty of suspected murder and needs to get banged up ASAP. So he went from going, William Kent, nice guy, probably not guilty. Now he's like, yeah, he's guilty. Yeah, just get rid of him, please. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, he was drunk when he talked to him.
Isn't
The
it
first
because
time.
of that seance they did, and she said he's guilty again?
Well, the first seance, but William Kent pleaded with him after that seance. The first one.
Oh, but then they had another one, didn't they?
The second one where William Kent was like the whole time, and now he's like, actually, yeah, he's guilty.
Oh, he's
yeah.
fuck! Just
Yeah.
knock him up. I've had enough of it.
Throw away the key.
He's on my dick every day. Bang him up.
But the Lord Mayor, Samuel Floodyer, turned around.
Didn't expect to hear like just a little gagging noise from Lewis there.
Oh, Lewis is responsible for many debaucherous
Many a gag.
things. Many a gag. Get the big gag daddy, remember? Hey.
Gag daddy.
Yeah, the gag daddy. So the Lord Mayor turned round and said to Reverend John Moore, piss off. But he also denied...
Piss off, you're drunk.
The mayor also denied William Kent's request for Richard Parsons to be arrested for fraud and malicious defamation of character. Children, please, just drop it.
They need to calm down. They need
They
some
do.
milk.
They do need some milk. They need the white stuff. Are you made of it?
They need the white stuff on Cock Lane ASAP.
Technically, the white stuff you made of it is true, because technically you are part made of that. If you think about it, you are. You're partly made of the stuff inside of the white stuff. You know what I mean? Bones. Yes, you're made of bones.
Calcium.
I'm talking about semen, the white stuff. Are you made of it?
Oh my god.
It's a science lesson now, children.
Young, dumb, and full of bones.
It's good. So, the Lord Mayor, Mr. Floodyer, decided, drop the investigation. I'm going to launch my very own. So now, it's official. We've got an official investigation into the ghost of Cock Lane. An unbiased one. One surely without all the crap we've put up with already. Surely. So, Get ready for a bunch of names you aren't going to remember. Fludyer put Reverend Stephen Aldrich, a vicar at St. John's in Clerkenwell, where William lived, in charge of the committee. He formed what was labelled by the press as the Committee of Gentlemen. On this committee was Dr. John Douglas, seasoned hunter of ghosts, hoax finder, and future Bishop of Salisbury. Mrs. Oakes, a hospital matron. Dr. George Macaulay, a distinguished physician. And Dr. Johnson, a man who was feverishly interested in the spirit world, and 2 other random gentlemen.
And you can assure me that they are true gentlemen.
There's a lady in there.
Yeah, don't forget about Mrs. Oakes.
There's a fucking lady in there. What's she doing in there?
Yeah, Mrs. Oakes, a hospital matron.
This is 1760 something.
Token,
Piss off.
Token woman.
Token woman of gentlemen.
Yeah.
They need to rethink that name.
Yeah, what was it called?
The Committee of Gentlemen. And they got a lady in there.
You're not a man. You can't be on this committee.
Wait, technically,
Was that the first thing they did? Kick her out?
Yeah. First order of the committee, remove Mrs. Oakes.
All in favour?
Aye. Now, to be fair, I'd say Mrs. Oakes is more valuable than Dr. Johnson, a man who was feverishly interested in the spirit world.
Do you think he's also a drunk?
Yeah.
I
I imagine he's the exact opposite. He's like, ghosts, ghosts, ghosts. Oh! Something like that.
It's just hot and cold all the time.
Yeah.
Sweating. Where's Ghost? It's just like drifting in and out of consciousness. Yeah, Ghost.
Imagine mid-like sounds. He's just wheeled on a wheelchair, and he's like,
There's a ghost. Oh shit! Hold on.
So that's the Committee of Gentlemen. Don't forget also the 2 other random gentlemen as well. Don't forget the 2 randos. Okay, they're definitely important to the story.
All right.
They're not at all.
Okay.
So the committee began their quest for the truth at Reverend Aldrich's house. 13-year-old Elizabeth Parsons was brought to the house as a neutral ground. And after all, she was the one getting haunted. Several justices of the peace also attended to act as independent advisors. So imagine this normal-sized bedroom, just absolutely filled with these old boffins sitting about, coughing and muttering between one another. It's my kind of investigation. You know, like someone does something and they go... Yeah. Imagine that. 13-year-old Elizabeth was undressed, examined, and put to bed by the Parsons family maid, Mrs. Oakes.
Oh, it's just a time. Like,
Yeah.
it was just a weird time, wasn't it? Just fucking weird time, isn't it? Like,
So I've just noticed that a mistake I've made here. I said that the Parsons family maid was called Mrs. Oakes as well, even though there was Mrs. Oakes in the committee. Maybe there's just 2 Mrs. Oakes? Maybe, but I think I got it wrong, so ignore the Parsons family maid name. To make things a little weirder, the bed was the only piece of furniture in the room. They began by asking the ghost questions, and nearly an hour passed and still not a single form of ghostly apparition or knock had appeared. A little bit awkward.
Imagine that guy who's feverishly into ghosts. He's not getting a fix at all.
The ghost is ectoplasm! During this wait, Elizabeth was incredibly restless, fidgeting and rolling about the bed. Not like in The Exorcist, but just more like how I sleep naturally.
Restless.
Yeah, something like that. When asked about this by Dr. Johnson, she said she could feel the spirit tickling her back like a little mouse.
a little mouse. Is that what mice do in the night?
Yeah, don't you get your back tickled by mice at night?
I can't say I ever have.
You haven't lived, mate. At one of the previous seances before the committee was formed, the ghost had indicated its answers via the knock code, which, you know, remember, 2 for no, 1 for yes. Through the knock code, the ghost had indicated that it would indeed manifest itself at the very place where Fanny was buried, the vaults of St. John's Church. With this information freshly... Come on, get it out.
Sorry, can you just tell me where Fanny was buried again?
Fanny was buried in the vaults of St. John's Church.
Oh, okay. A blessed place.
Perfect place for a Fanny to appear. With this information freshly rubbed into the brains of the Boffins, they decided to take this quest for truth elsewhere. You guys okay?
You have written this script on purpose. You've done it. You've done it in a way. You know what you've done, James.
I think I didn't do it on purpose. I think just subconsciously. Just a bit of... I'm a deviant.
You are imbibing the euphemism.
Oh, your lads will like this line. Yeah. That's
Everyone's just a horny fucker.
Everyone's going to like this line. It's going to be proper comedic. Genitals. That's what I was doing when I wrote the episode. Yeah.
That's what's going on in your subconscious.
Yeah. Lads are going to love this
Fanny.
The very same. So the Boffins all headed out to the church. They were like, let's go, lads. The ghost is going to appear. Let's go. Here we bloody go. As they prepared to head to the church, however, the sound of scratching began, and Elizabeth was ordered to lift her hands from her bed sheets as they began to quiz the spirit. Truss!
Your hands, girl, your hands!
One of the committee asked the spirit to merely knock to confirm its presence, but there was no answer. So they said screw it and went to the vaults of the church anyway about 30 minutes later.
Fuck it.
Yeah, basically. Imagine, like, at the same time, that Dr. Johnson being wheeled at the back of the group going, wow, this is the amazing, best night of my life. EVP!
He's just hallucinating ghosts because he's so feverish. Thinks everyone around him's a ghost. They're everywhere. Oh.
Excuse me, mate.
Finally comes to and just starts talking to someone. Excuse you, mate. You a ghost?
Oh, I'm quite sure they would say so.
Falls straight back into his fever.
So the committee of gentlemen barreled it across the area, and upon arrival at the coffin of Fanny Lyons, they yet again tried to communicate with the spirit, telling it to knock on the coffin to confirm its appearance. But just like the bedroom, they all got mugged off again. There was no knock. And they basically just kind of stood about in a cold crypt for a while, which is a bit awkward.
Spooky.
Too many people.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Do you reckon the ghost is... Fanny's quite shy?
Well, we know about the ghost, the alleged Fanny ghost, that it doesn't like lots of noises and stuff, so maybe. This is why. So, a bit embarrassed and probably a bit pissed off as well, they charged back to Aldrich's house and pulled the lamps close to Elizabeth Parsons' face, as it was time for an interrogation.
Listen here, bitch.
Listen, we want the same thing, don't we? It'd be like, because there's so many people, it'd be like good cop, slightly good cop, okay cop, bad cop, really bad cop.
It would be like
a little bit bad cop.
Like a
Listen,
parent living vicariously through their child, and they're just not doing well. Like, they're not doing as well as they thought they should. And they've just got the lamps next to her face, like, listen here, Liz. Are you really trying? Are you trying? Are you? I want to find out who's scratching the fucking walls, don't you?
Listen, I can talk to someone who can help you. Come on! Yeah, so, so the committee, they thought they'd been the victims of a large, elaborate hoax. Because remember, these were quote-unquote important people. So they didn't like being fooled around. They didn't enjoy that. And they decided to quiz 13-year-old Elizabeth for hours until about 3 a.m. when she was finally allowed to go home. Yes, I suppose you can go now. Yeah, what they did is they wheeled the doctor over in his chair, and they decided that his interrogation wasn't enough.
They've just turned him around facing the wall.
Go, scratch, poltergeist!
Oh, it's so mean.
It's not me. I've just got this guy who's just he's so excited.
No, I mean, just turning him around, just like, oh, fuck off, Johnson.
How
Chatting shit.
How did he even get that doctorate in the first place?
Why did you invite him to the committee? Okay, that's a good input from Johnson there.
Ghost, big ghost, little ghost, great big
Everywhere.
giant Greek canaries. Ooh, yeah. So
Just a funny thought.
absolute crazy, man. So yeah, so she was allowed to go home at 3 a.m. and then Richard Parsons, drunk daddy, he apparently came in or stumbled in and scolded the committee for even thinking she would be responsible for such attention-seeking actions. Listen, you lot, listen, you should be ashamed of yourself. Yeah, you should. Yeah. You should look at yourselves in the mirror.
That's my Lizzie, that is.
That's my Lizzie!
That's my daughter. I
Look
can't
at
really
you,
say that's my boy. I could have done that's my girl, actually.
That's my girl! Yeah. So Parsons went on to claim that the reason the apparition did not appear to them in the vaults of St. John's was because her corpse had been stolen by some ghoulish cur. He's just coming out with any old crap. He really is just like, it's
He is
Fanny's
the king of
ghost.
chatting shit, isn't
Someone took the body, mate, yeah. He's got wet brain. He's got wet
he?
brain. Mate.
He's like the 1700s equivalent of Jay from The Inbetweeners.
Yeah. That's very, very accurate, actually. Yeah, I'll give you that. Because this is what it had come to now, William Kent had to give permission to the church to open the coffin of Fanny Lyons, and he had to be in attendance for it. As the coffin was opened, Kent almost fainted seeing her body. He just simply turned around and went, "Yes, that is her." And the coffin was closed. Her body was still in there. So the guy's nerves must have been in complete tatters. You know, like, Jesus Christ. But yeah, nice job, Parsons. Yeah, nice job again. With your amazing suggestions. Well done.
Everyone just walking past him like, nice one, Parsons. Well done.
Well done, Parsons.
Amazing how many people are buying into it, isn't it?
Superstition is a powerful thing. And so is a mob mentality as well. And so is the media. It's the papers, man. But yeah. So now, Elizabeth was now in the spotlight, being accused of being the mastermind behind this entire elaborate and life-destroying hoax. She was the one being solely to blame for it. She was given one more chance to prove her innocence. If she failed to verify the truth, Elizabeth, her father Richard, and her mother would be all carted off to Newgate Prison.
We don't hear much about the mum, do we?
She probably just spent the whole time going, "Oh, for God's sake.
Mumble.
Oh, for God's sake, Richard, not again." Richard.
The body's been snatched.
Oh, come on, babe. I'm numb all over. I can last forever. Just get him.
It's Cockline after all, come on.
I should push him to a canal. I should just push him to a canal. Just get
I
over
could
this.
kill him.
Kill him anytime. I should do it. To put it bluntly, overall, 13-year-old Elizabeth Parsons was shitting herself, fully caked, undies full of Swiss rolls.
Fully caked.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So much so that she quickly swiped a wooden chopping board from the kitchen, hid it under her nightdress, and later used it to recreate the sounds of scratches and knocks that everyone was familiar with. What Elizabeth didn't know is that two maids saw her take it, and so they went and snitched on her to her daddy. Imagine though, like the maids coming up to her and going, "Right, Elizabeth, what are you up to?" And like she's just got this obvious like board under her pajamas, and real straight chest. "Nothing. I'm not doing anything. Why?"
Just been working out.
Just Jack, mate. Just Jack.
Cutting board abs.
Yeah. So the maids went and grassed her up good and proper. Knowing her deception would come out bad either way, Richard Parsons presented it to the investigators. He explained that she did it because she was afraid of the outcome if the spirit didn't show itself. Okay.
That could have completely derailed the entire investigation.
It's a very important investigation. Richard then went on to say that all previous paranormal activity at Cock Lane had been genuine, and that she had no hand in it, and that he would swear upon the Bible in regards to the apparition he had seen with the Wheatsheaf's landlord, James Franzen. I'll swear on the Bible, I will. I'll swear on the Bible. I'll do it.
No, I fucking promise you.
It's all real.
Get a Bible. I'll fucking swear.
Listen, yeah, get the Bible. Yeah, do you know why? Because she had no hands.
She had no hands. Fucking hell. Johnson in the corner like... no hands.
No hands!
Look, Ma.
Though for the majority of this debacle, things were not in Kent's favour. The tide was finally turning. Kent published a pamphlet called The Mystery Revealed, which contained a very striking account of his innocence, the fact he was owed loads of money, and his character, which was totally defamed. With all that, sympathy began to finally pour in, and all the fingers suddenly turned to point at the Parsons family. And of course, let's not forget, the Reverend Moore. Because remember, he was also involved in this. In the summer of 1762, the official court proceedings had begun for the cock-laying hoaxers. The Parsons and Moore came before Lord Mansfield at the Court of King's Bench in Guildhall. They were all charged with conspiring to take away the life of William Kent by charging him with the murder of Miss Frances Lynes. The case lasted the whopping span of an entire day. All of them were found guilty. Open and shut case, baby.
Yeah.
After a brief discussion in his quarters with other judges about this extraordinary case, he felt that Kent deserved much more than to have his name cleared. He felt he was also owed a bit of cashola, a bit of wonga for the the various statements that were thrown against him. So Reverend Moore was ordered to pay a sum of £300, which in modern money is around £30,000. Oh, he regrets all those late nights boozing now. He even then had to pay the legal fees as well on top of this, which is unknown, which is a double ouch. Unfortunately, though, Reverend Moore was so shaken by the whole affair, or at least the financial damages of it, that he died soon after. He was like, "No, mate, I'm getting out of here. See you later."
What did he kill himself or?
He just died, apparently. Just died.
He just fucking died, hasn't he?
He died, mate.
Everyone would just drop in like flies back
Yeah.
then anyway.
Probably died from having like I said earlier, too many ghosts in his blood or something like that. 8 months later, Parsons was still being a tightwad and had not paid a single penny towards the compensation or the loan which he owed Mr. Kent. So they did the only thing you can do to a drunken lowlife who doesn't pay his dues. They slammed his ass in prison for 2 years. A bonus sentence was that he was required to stand in the stocks 3 times. His wife was also sent to prison at Bridewell Palace for 6 months of hard labour. So yeah, you go to prison for 2 years and you also have to do the stocks. Remember the stocks? They should still do the stocks now, shouldn't they, really? It's a great way to...
Stocks?
It's the wooden things with your head and arms.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that. So, not only was he in tough guy jail, he was also having to go into the stocks. Whilst Richard was in the stocks, not drunk because he was in jail, so he's probably also going through some sort of... Withdrawal symptoms, yeah. Instead of being absolutely pummeled with rotten eggs, tomatoes, and poo, many were actually apparently quite moved by the sight of this pathetic man. Apparently, they began a collection in his name, and by the end of his 2-year sentence, he was given the collection and apparently just left and started his life anew. During the first days of his release, he returned to the Wheatsheaf and gave yet another speech, one of those famous Richard Parsons speeches. But he said that it was true that he had his differences with William Kent, that he owed him money, but he himself was, drunkenness aside, a well-liked, good-natured man before the Cock Lane affair. He also said that near hundreds of people had bared witness to the scratching and knocking done by the ghost, including men of most high esteem, like Horace Welpole and the rest of the most haunted 1762 squad. How do you feel about Richard Parsons' ultimate ending? You think he deserved more than 2 years in jail? Less?
Feels weird that everyone was like, let's take a collection for the lad.
Yeah, I know.
When he gets out, so we'll have some money.
And then he went...
So he was convicted of murder and then he got 2 years.
No, not convicted of murder, no. He didn't do it. No, it was defamation. They were all basically convicted of defamation and basically wasting everyone's time because they were trying to ruin this guy's life, weren't they? So Elizabeth Parsons still maintained that the ghost was real, but at this point, I guess you'd have to, wouldn't you? You wouldn't just suddenly turn around and be like, "Oh, actually, no, it wasn't real. It's all a fake." Nobody wants to look like a fraud, but she tried to avoid talking about it. Apparently, for the rest of her life, she just any details of the Cock Lane ghost affair apparently terrified her. Like, she was terrified of the whole thing. And ultimately, as she grew up, she later married, and as far as anyone knows, she moved far away from Cock Lane.
Imagine having to try and like grow up after that. Either try and convince yourself that you were right and just like let everyone kind of give you shit for it.
Yeah.
Or tell yourself that you must have been like imagining something just so you can get on.
Yeah, I know.
That's a bit of a shit choice.
I humbly agree with you. Yeah. It's not great, man. It's not great.
Poor Lizzie.
Poor Lizzie. But there is one final twist to this tale.
Oh.
One final twist. If you could think of a twist to this tale, what would it be?
Someone was like manufacturing the noises all along, and it was all just not ghost related whatsoever.
As far as we can tell, it was Elizabeth doing them. You know, in the end, she at least made it look like it was her. But yeah, I know what you mean.
What if they weren't?
Fanny didn't actually die.
Oh, dun dun.
Nah, but they saw the body though.
Somebody else.
True. Somebody else didn't die. I don't care.
That's not Fanny.
So
that's not my Fanny.
It's not my Fanny. So, Mr. William Kent, he did all right in the end, didn't he? You know, he went through a lot. He lost 2 years of his life. His reputation got shat all over of, but in the end, he was proven innocent, and he got some money. You know, what more could he want? Well, let's not go thinking he's a saint just yet. So, in 1850, 89 years later, after the whole thing, an illustrator by the name of J.W. Archer somehow got permission to open the coffin of Fanny Lines so he could sketch her remains for an entry regarding Cock Lane in a book called Memoirs of Extraordinary Popular Delusions by Charles Mackay. That's a very Victorian name for a book, may I add. It's so Victorian, but it's okay. I love it.
That's so Victorian.
That's so Victorian of you. As the coffin was opened, Archer gazed inside, expecting to see the skeleton of what was once a young lady with an aquiline nose. Instead, inside was a perfectly preserved body of a woman who looked like she was merely sleeping. There was no scarring because of apparent smallpox that had apparently killed her. Archer and many others have remarked that a body of such age could definitely be in pristine condition still, due to, and you've probably guessed this, arsenic poisoning. One other explanation for her pristine condition is that her coffin was lead-lined, as we mentioned earlier. This allows for bodies to be preserved for much longer. Due to the lack of forensic science in the 19th century, the trail ultimately ran cold and ended there.
Wow.
So, yeah.
How many years was this after?
89 years.
89?
Yeah. I did say it. I did,
You did say it, Lewis.
I did say it.
I missed it. That's why I had to ask you.
Okay, well, thank you for asking. Yeah, so this was 1850, 89 years after Cock Lane.
That's a long time.
So, yes, it is. So
I assume everyone was dead that used to be involved in the Cock Lane.
89, yeah, unless they lived to be 100 and something, I don't think they'd be about still.
So
the point
she could
is,
have actually been murdered.
yeah, it turns out all these accusations against William Kent could have been true. Possibly.
And he got a pretty payoff for it.
Yeah, or it was a real good coffin. One or the other.
Yeah.
But either way, that's the end of it. So
That
modern
bastard Kent.
Yeah, it may have been a bastard all along. Just maybe. Modern parapsychologists have revisited the case many times and brought in the modern trope that paranormal events seem to surround young women who are on the cusp or beginning to enter puberty. But it's up to you if you believe that. But ultimately, what a case. What an absolute situation. What an absolute event. What an absolute moment in time Cock Lane affair. The haunting of Cock Lane was. And that's Cock Lane.
Case closed.
Case closed on the haunting of Cock Lane. William Kent guilty as shit, but he got away with it.
I'll go ahead and say it. William Cunt.
Lewis, you can't scoff at that because you basically implied the word at the very start of the episode.
No, I didn't. I said, what a cunt.
But yeah, that is the ghost of Cock Lane.
That
Thoughts?
was a roly coasty.
Thoughts?
I think he done it. He done did it.
Yeah, he definitely did it.
But
He
why
done
did he done did it?
Money?
Maybe-
Remember, he changed her will that he got all of her money.
Yeah.
Well, he
What
definitely
money
done
did
did
she
it.
have?
Oh, mate, that was the last episode. All right, go back and listen to it if you can't be bothered to remember the
20
Okay.
threepence. I don't know what a threepence is.
God's sake. God's sake.
It gives me Birkenhair vibes. Although there was no like body selling and long legs Nancy, whatever her fucking name was called. It reminds me of that. Maybe it's because it's like from the same era kind of thing. Ish.
Wasn't, but yeah.
Olden days, you know.
Oh yeah, it's about 150 years off, mate. But yeah, go on. Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Historian.
I'm not a historian. I don't claim to be either. Okay.
He
Remember
definitely does.
But
On a
overall,
spooky meter.
it's not a massively spooky story, is it? Really, it's the interesting side of the haunting stuff's just kind of a footnote to it. It's the
Yeah.
people's behavior that is really the interesting part of the story and the main focus of the story. But I feel like they sounded like characters, and if they weren't, we've certainly turned them into characters enough to make it interesting.
Yeah.
So
My favorite.
yeah.
You know who my favorite is.
the
It's
Reverend.
got to be wheelchair.
Oh,
Wheelchair Johnson.
Dr. Johnson. Sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Just having an absolute fit all the time.
Nah, he's not having a fit, man. He's just so full of.
He's
so
just
full of
cold and hot at the same time.
So full of paranormal excitement that he just can't contain it. He's like, you know, it's just like that. So,
Well, I'm going to see
yeah.
a ghost.
but that was The Haunting of Cock Lane, listeners. Part 2, should I say. And there
Well
won't be a
done.
part 3. Sorry, but there won't be. But I thank you so much, as always, for listening to our episodes. We do hope you enjoyed it. And if you have anything you'd like to say, you know, you can email us at marvels.mysteries@gmail.com. And we're also on Instagram. We're all on Instagram now, though I don't think we all use it as much as most people. But we're on there as well. And we're doing lives as well soon as well. We've done some... Lewis did a live recently. He did a quiz with Carly from the Haunted Housewives podcast, and he lost. He let the podcast down.
You didn't
Nearly
even win,
win.
Lewis.
But he nearly
I
won.
thought I was
so-
winning, you know.
I know, yeah, I did as well, but I think you had a...
Bad counting, I blame.
Oh. Well, okay, we'll have a rematch. There'll be a rematch at some point, and you can truly prove how much of a bad boy you are with quizzes, okay? So you can also find us on Instagram at MMMidlanders or at MMM Idlanders. There we go. And that's it for this week, guys. That is The Haunting of Cock Lane, the ghost of Cock Lane. It's been a rude journey, but we had a great time. I had a great time, as I always do, as I always do. So thank you so much for listening. Any parting words, gentlemen?
If you hear any strange noises during the night, just remember, it could be scratching Fanny. Beautiful.
I didn't want to ruin it. It was a poetic moment. I didn't want to.
It was. I think we needed a moment of silence just to bask in
Yeah,
how beautiful that was.
I think, absolutely agree. How about you, Lewis?
No, I've got nothing to add. Not this time.
Never
How could you
does.
follow on from that?
Never
Yeah.
does. Yeah, it's true. Well then, thank you so much, gents. Thank you to you, Adam Daly.
Thank
you
you,
to
James Alexander.
Thank you. Thank you to you, Lewis Carter. And until next time, we have been Marvel's Mysteries and Midlanders. Thank you very much. We love you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
I've also hit record.